The first thing I want to show you is where in the contract, if you haven't bought a house recently, you're going to want to know why. So these are in the listing agreements, any kind of forms that you're going to sell on the see on the seller side, right? They are going to they're going to pop up. So to show you where we're going to need them. So let me show them to you. And this is in our offer to purchase. Okay. This is in our offer to purchase. If you look down here, now this is 16 pages long, but right here, we want the street address and the city and the zip and the county, right? And then we want the legal descriptions, complete all that's applicable. Plat reference, so we want a lot or a unit number for selling a condo, block or section number right here. What's the name of that subdivision or the condominium, all right? We have an extra line here. Do we have a plat book or do we have a slide at what pages, okay? And then there's a personal identification number that we're going to want to put in here. All right. And then any other description. If we have a deed book, we're going to put it in here. So all these things are there. And you want to put in everything that you can possibly find. Now, the very next question, you're going to find it. No, the information is not available in a lot of cases in the MLS. But thank you for asking that, because that's exactly what we're going to do next. So anyway, I want to show you how to find it. You're going to do, I use Wake County because that's Raleigh and that particular area and what have you. All right. Go out, and this is a simple Google search. I didn't do anything tricky. I didn't do anything. All right. But if you go out to your particular county, just to type in Wake County, in this case, Wake County land records. Right here, first one, real estate. You can find it for your own. All right. It's going to take me to Wake County's records, land records. Search real estate records. Wow, so far so good, right? Now, I can search this by address, if I have an ID number, if I have a parcel number, but I like to search it by last name. And let's just put mine in there. All right. And I'm going to do this property search. I'm just going to click on go. Right. And I didn't know I have that many people with the same last name as I, but these are all particular people with the same last name as me who have property in Wake County. Now I want you to look all the way over. Here's the location address. Here's the city. But look at what's here, the property description. The property description's here, but let's just pick one to make it easier for us. All right. Let's pick Carolyn Hassel. Now I have no idea who these people are, honest to God. So I'm not picking anybody out of know them. All right. But let's say we're going to go to Carolyn's. Well, now I have all of Carolyn's information, right? I can tell you what she paid for the house. I can tell you what her tax, here, the building land values assessment, the building values assessment, right? Her total assessment over here. Here is all of the administrative data, right? Land class, everything else we want. Up in, let's see, what do we have here? We want to look at right up here, property description. Lot 40, Sagewood subdivision, and then they have a number 1981-0665. Okay, it's all here, every one of them. What's our mailing address? All right. For all of you people who thought you had some sort of privacy, I can tell you what your tax bill's been for the last few years, right? And if you're current, here it is, it's right here. We can pay it. It's all public information. And their account number, right? So she currently owes a little bit of money here. She has to pay, or she paid these, she's paid. After September 1st, notice that the due date on the taxes, 9/1/2022. The interest begins on 1/6/2023. This is all stuff we've covered, right? Yes, you can pay your property taxes here too. All right. So, and when was it paid in full? They paid it in November. If she paid this in November and sold the house in December, Would she have to get some money back? You have to get some money back, right? That's what you can see here. All right. So that's what happens here. So obviously there are a couple of different properties here. Okay. 21, and this was last year's taxes. When was it due? And they paid it. Now notice that the taxes went up from this year to last year. Remember, they can, because they changed the tax rates. They changed the tax rates. So there you go. That takes us back there. All right. So you can find all of this stuff. Trust me, we can tell you all about that house if we want to. And each and every house has their own story to tell, right? Addresses, deeds. We can go through the count, the buildings, how many buildings are on there, land, what's in their deeds, who's on the deed. By the way, if you're going to list a house, do I have to, if I'm the purchaser, do I have to, if I'm the purchaser, do I have to put myself on the deed? I can deed it to anybody I want. I can deed it to anybody I want. I'll be financially responsible. But what if I wanted to leave it to my kids? What if I wanted them to be the owners? I can put them on the deed. Therefore, when you got to sell it, when you go to sell it, they have to agree to sell it. They have to agree to sell it. So in this particular case, you might want to go to deeds, and you can see who is all the way back. Here you go. You want to go back to your 20 years? Here's all of the people who are deeded in that property. Okay. Okay, here you go. Got to snoop around. Each county website is a little bit different. Most of them are pretty easy though. Just if you county land records, you'll probably take you right there. I don't, again, you can work. There are what, 100 counties? How many counties are in North Carolina? I believe there are 100, right? It's a lot. So each one is different. I'll tell you what, some, and I don't know all the counties in North Carolina, but some are still on cards. They're not, there might be some that are just, I know that here in South Carolina, we had a county here that was 10 years ago or 5 years ago, they were still on like index cards where you had to go to the registrar of deed to find out all this information. Now everybody else has really updated it, and I believe they've updated it too. So I can't speak for all of these counties, but every county I've tried just arbitrarily has had one. So go ahead and find it. And if you live in the city, try the city tax records, see what's there. You can find them. It's all here. It's public search. I didn't do anything tricky. There's nothing tricky. I just stuck my name in and I got all this information. Carolyn doesn't know me from Adam, but yes, guess what? I know a lot more about Carolyn in the last 10 minutes than I did before. And you can too. Most county offices that I have called have been very, very helpful. Right? They really have been. So, I have not run into a problem yet. So you'll be something that you would want to take. But yeah, here, so when the appraiser goes and checks your house, right? When the appraiser goes and checks your house, then they can take a picture of it so that they can prove that they took it. All right. This house has changed a little bit since 1996. Right? Looks like it has anyway. Put new siding on it, painted it. All right. They can tell us sales, how much they sold it for, if we wanted to. All right. All of this stuff. Bought it in 2013 for $240,000. All right, here is the thing I want you never to do, because this is one of those pet peeves. If Carolyn's grandmother gave her the house, Carolyn Hassel, if she got this for nothing, $5, and you have a buyer for Carolyn's house, please don't get to call up her agent and say, well, she didn't pay anything for the house. Why won't she take a low offer? We have agents do that all the time. And you know what? Good for Carolyn. She got the house for free, but bad for you because you're going to pay market value for the house. It's her house. Just because she got it for nothing doesn't mean you're going to get it for a discount. I hate when they do that. That's just a pet peeve of mine. So don't. Find out what the market value is and then make an offer. Right? But it's here because you can get too much information. If she got it for nothing, good for her. Good for her. All right. So everybody see that? See how easy it is? It's not that difficult. You got a whole bunch of information here. Right? You got a whole bunch of information. If we wanted to, here's a layout. You want to see what our rooms look like? You want to buy our new rug? Here's our family room, 26 by 32. Go to Wayfair, drop her a new rug. That'd be nice, Christmas time. All right, that's enough of that. All right. So just an FYI, right? Is it the same for mobile homes? It would be the same. Remember going back, if we owned the property, we'd have to own the property. We'd have had to retire the title. We'd have had to take the axle off, put it on a permanent foundation, taking the wheels off of it, retired the motor vehicle title, and now it becomes real property. So yes, you're going to have a tax number because you're going to pay taxes on it, but it has to be on your own land. Really pretty easy. There's no secrets. Everybody wants to protect their privacy. Are you kidding me? It doesn't take much. So this is what a survey, a plat map would look like, right? I know that you can't see this very well, but all of these, see every time they change here, if you notice that there's little directional changes here, every time they change directions, they put in a new meets and bounds direction with compass points and foot. So we know when these are changed. You can't read it too well, but this is a table of meets and bounds, and that's what they're doing here. Every time they change direction in the slightest way from a monument, they put in this table, what direction they headed, how many feet it is till they changed again. Okay, so that would be where it is. Right? So if you want to go to Macon County, North Carolina, you could probably find where the volunteer fire and rescue is. And here's the layout. Okay. First things first, we need to know this. So write it down, scribble it on your hand, whatever it takes, you need to remember this. 43,560 square feet in 1 acre. Okay. Or 4 sweet older ladies going 35 and a 60. That's how most people remember it. Okay. 435, 60. Right? 43,560. Okay. So you have to remember that because you're going to be asked question, how many acres are there? And if you don't know this, you can't do the acreage. So it's going to be key. All right. We're going to talk about area here for a second. If we have road frontage, notice here that we have a road in the front of our property, right? So that means that if I am standing on the road, the width of your property is road frontage. That's frontage. All right. And that's the most important piece of your property is what I can see from the street. Okay. Road frontage. Now, the depth is relatively important when I'm looking for total size, but I could purchase that property based on front footage. In this particular case, we have 150 feet of front foot. All right. So along the street, we have 150. So this would be width. And this 50 would be depth. All right. Back to the tree line, back to the property line. All right. So if I was buying fence for this property, I'd need what? Linear feet, right? So what would I do if I was buying fence? What would I do? You all done it, right? You're going to add up the 4 sides, right? That's linear foot. So 150 plus 50 plus another 150 plus 50, right? And that means that I need 400 feet of fence. Pretty simple, right? Not too difficult. Not too difficult. Now, if I wanted to find square feet is what? Length times width? Length times width. So in this particular case, I'd multiply 150 times what? 50, right? Or length being 50 times 150, which is width. And that gives me 7,500 square feet. Right? Anybody disagree? All right. Now, the question here would say, how many acres is that? If I told you I had a 150 by 50 foot parcel, how many acres is that? Well, that would be the question. And then you'd have to multiply those two together and get 7,500 square feet. But then you'd have to divide it by what? 43,560, right? You have to remember that. You have to remember 43,560. And when you do so, it's going to be 0.17 of an acre. 0.17 of an acre. Okay. What if I wanted to find out how much area do I have on that side of the triangle? Does anybody remember the formula for a triangle? Length times width divided by 2. All we have is this rectangle. So in order to find all of it, I would do length times width or base times height. It's the same thing. And then if I just wanted that triangle, I'm going to divide it by 2, right? I have 2 triangles. And that works with every single triangle. Base times height divided by 2. And that's going to give you the square footage in each side of that triangle. Okay? So in this particular case, we'd have 7,500 and we divide it by 2. All right? Was it 3750? I'm not sure, I don't remember. Right? 3750? So that would be how much is in one side of it. Just remember that, right? That's another formula that you should be, they're not going to give, you're not going to get any formulas. I don't give you a formula sheet. I can't. You're going to have to remember it. All right? So that's why it's important to do the problems and do the homework, things of that nature. Okay? All right, there's our grandmas again. 4 grandmas going 35 and a 60. All right, let's do this. When calculating the area of a rectangular lot, you multiply the blank by the lot by the what of the lot? What he just talked about. What is it? Base times height or length times width, right? Length times width. Either way, it's all the same, right? Length times width when we're talking about property. All right. Basic units in town are townships. How many miles square? How many squares do we have? All right, 6 and 6, right? 6 and 6. And how many sections are in there? We have 36, right? If you multiply 6 times 6, we got 36 individual square miles. Okay? So we have 36 individual square miles in those sections. All right, so each section is what? I just gave that away a little bit. We have 1 square mile, right? Each one of those. How many acres are in that square mile? Nope. 640, there you go. 640. All right, and how many square feet are in an acre? 60. All right, you got it. 43,560. Okay. Those numbers are going to be important that you remember. Now, look, we're not just leaving you out to lurch here, right? We're not leaving you out there. So, again, length times width is total area, square feet. Triangles, right? Half base times height. It doesn't matter how the triangle looks. It's only, a triangle is only half of some type of rectangle. So when we're looking for square footage, it doesn't matter what it looks like. All right. So that is, it's half base times height. Okay. If we're looking for volume or cubic feet, logically, it would be what? Length times width times what? Height, right? Cubic feet times height. If you had a box, your Amazon box got delivered. If you wanted to figure out how big that Amazon box was, you'd measure what? How wide it was, how long it was, how deep it was, right? That's cubic feet. And again, 1 acre, 1 mile, one section has 640 acres, and 27 cubic feet are in 1 cubic yard. Okay, 1 cubic yard. All right. So first question, what's the area of a lot with a width of 250 feet and a length of 190 feet? 250 by 190. So we're going to do what? If we have 250 feet wide by 190 feet long, we're going to multiply 250 times what? 190, right? And we're going to get 47,500. Now, I know it's not in this question, but I want to know how many acres that is. So what am I doing? So I'm going to take this 47,500 and I'm going to divide it by 43,560. And it's going to come up with, I'm going to trust that you got your math right, 1.09 acres. Right? That's all. If I'm selling it. If I'm paying for it by the acre, I'm going to want to know, right? I'm going to want to know what I'm paying for. So that's number one. Number two, what's the area of a right triangle with a base of 50 feet and a height of 90 feet? So we got 50 times 90 is going to be 50 times 90 is going to be 4,500. 4,500, and then we're going to divide it by 2. And that's going to give me my 2,250. How many acres are in a lot 400 feet by 900 feet? Now we're starting to talk. There you go. 8.26. So all we do is multiply them and then divide them by how many square feet are in an acre. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. All right, let's see. Number 4, do number 4. Some of you already have number 4 done already. How many acres in a triangular lot with a base of 250 and a height of 300? All right. So we have 250 times 300 is going to give us 7,500, 70 divided by 75,000. Divided by 2. And that's going to be 37,500. And then we're going to take that 37,500 and we're going to divide it by 43,560. Okay, 0.86. Number 5, what's the cost of a condo that measures 20 feet by 45 feet at $75 a square foot? There you go. 20 times 45. All right. Going to be 900. 900 times 75. Right? 900 times 75, 67,500. All right, there you go. This one, number 6, a little different. What's the cost of a lot 200 by 400 at $25,000 an acre? There you go. You all got it. All right, you all got it. We're going to multiply 200 times 400. All right, and that's going to give us 200 times 400 is going to be 80,000. 80,000 divided by what? 43,560. We got to find out how many acres we got. Okay, 43,560 gives us technically 1.8367 on and on. And if we multiplied that by 2,500, 1.8367 times what do we have? How many? 25,000, and it's going to come to roughly 45,913 and change 68 cents. All right, that's how you do that. That's easy enough. Number 7, do number 7. See what you got. See what we come up with. $650,000 it sold for. How much for front foot? If we have 125 feet wide, that's our front foot, right? We're going to divide it by 125. And that's going to be $5,200 per front foot. All right, let's look at number 8 here. I want you to think this one through. Okay, I want you to think that one through. All right. Okay, so in this question, we have a building that's 87 feet by 150 feet. And it has ceilings that are 18 feet high, but the plumbing and HVAC detracts from the usable space because it hangs down 2 feet from the ceiling. Now, the key is one word here, and that is usable cubic feet. The building sold for $4 per usable cubic foot. So what was the sales price? So in our particular case here, okay, we have 87 times 150 times 16, because we can't use, it hangs down 2 feet, so we can't use 2 feet. So it's only going to be multiplied by 16 is going to get us cubic feet, right? And that's going to be 208,800. All right, that's how many cubic feet. And then we're going to multiply that by $4. And that's going to give us our 835,200.
If you like this video, feel free to share it with a friend. For more real estate education content, please subscribe to the channel. From all of us at Seacoast Real Estate Academy, thank you for watching.